Hi again everyone, and welcome to episode 12. Last week we went over the 3 groups of girls in mythology that had a bunch of different powers: the muses, the oracles, and the fates. This week we will be finishing off the list of deities that are the personification of concepts. Some of these guys we have mentioned before as they are part of the primordials, but now we're just going to go over as many as possible to show just how much detail and delegation the Greeks put into their understanding of the universe. Personified means the attribution of a personal nature or human characteristics to something non-human, or the representation of an abstract quality in human form. A figure intended to represent an abstract quality, a person, animal, or object regarded as representing or embodying a quality, concept, or a thing. Even though we refer to them as gods or spirits or daemons, most of the time they were never actually given too much attention to ever really get made into the point of getting a body, and even fewer went on to actually being honored or recognized as a god or goddess. But the personification was a way for the ancient Greeks to get some ground on things that were very difficult for them to understand, acting as kind of a way to explain the mysteries of the universe and all of life itself. A lot of different concepts were covered with these personifications. There are 7 main categories that these deities can be separated into. Number 1 is emotions and state of mind, like love, hate, sexual desire, affection, anger, harmony, discord, joy, and grief, laughter, hope, and fear, indignation, or delusion. Number 2 is the human condition, like birth, death, sleep, dreams, pleasure and pain, youth and old age, wealth and poverty, hunger and diseases, ease and toil, fate and opportunity. Third is qualities like strength, beauty, grace, wisdom, or stupidity. Number 4 is morality, like valor, modesty, moderation, hubris, mercy, truth, lies, justice, respect, or insolence. Number 5 is voice, like eloquence, persuasion, criticism, lies, quarrels, prayer, counsel, rumor, or battle cries. Number 6 is actions like force, rivalry, victory, labor, contest, fighting, or murder. And the last one is number 7, the state of society, like peace and war, good governance, law and lawlessness, justice or injustice. So now let's just get right into it. There's a whole bunch of them, and you might hear names that you have heard before, but let's just go. So we're going to do this in alphabetical order. So first up is Akos, who is a representation of pain of the body, pain of the mind, grief, and distress. Next up is Adiphagia, who is the personification of gluttony. Then there is Aditia, who is the personification of injustice or wrongdoing. Next up is Adios, who is reverence, respect, shame, self-respect, or modesty. Then Ergia, who is idleness, laziness, or sloth. Then Aeschine, who is a sense of shame, modesty, and honor. Then Aglaia, who is beauty, splendor, glory, magnificence, or adornment. After that is Agon, who is contest or struggle. Then there is Alala, who is war cry or battle cry. After that, there is Alastor, who is blood feud or vengeance. Then Alki, who is battle cry, prowess, courage. Then Althea, who is truth, truthfulness, or sincerity. Then Almachinia, who is helplessness. Then Amphalagia, who is disputes, debate, or contention. After that, there's Anadia, ruthlessness, shamelessness, and unforgivingness. Then Anarchy, who is necessity or compulsion. Then Androchese, plural, who are the personification of the slaughter of men during battle. After that, there's Angelia, who is message, tidings, and proclamation. Then Ania, grief, sorrow, distress, or trouble. Then there's Anteros, who is reciprocated love. Apate, who's trick, fraud, deceit, guile, or treachery. Aporia, difficulty, perplexity, wants of means. Arai, which is also plural, who are the personification of curses. Then Aret, who is the personification of virtue, excellence, goodness, manliness, and valor. Then Ate, who is delusion, infatuation, folly, reckless impulse, or rash action. Bia, who is force, power, might, bodily strength, and compulsion. Kakya, who is vice and moral badness. Kairos, who is opportunity, critical time, advantage, and profit. Callias, who is beauty. Then Kalokagathea, who is nobility, nobleness, and goodness. Charis, who is beauty, grace, and favor. Kolimos, stupidity and foolishness. Koros, who is insolence and disdain. Kratos, strength, might, power, bodily strength, and rule. Tizios, who is a personification of home, house, and domestic property. Kaidomos, who is the personification of the din of battle, confusion, uproar, and hubbub. Deimos, who is fear, terror, and dread. Dikaiosin, who is justice and righteousness. Daiki, who is also justice, rights by custom and law, and righteous judgment. Dolos, who is trickery, cunning, deception, craftiness, guile, and treachery. Dysnomia, who is lawlessness, bad civil constitution. Dysebia, who is ungodliness. Arian, who is peace. Ekehoria, who is truce, armistice, and the cessation of hostilities. Ilios, who is pity, mercy, and compassion. Elpis, who is hope and expectation. Apiles, who is the personification of nightmare. Epidotes, who is the personification of ritual purification. Epiphryon, who is prudence, shrewdness, carefulness, and thoughtfulness. Eris, who is strife, discord, quarrel, contention, rivalry, and battle strife. Eros, of course, who is love and sexual desire. Euclea, who is good repute or glory. Eudaimonia, who is happiness. Eunomia, who is good order, civil order, good laws, and lawful behavior. Eupheme, who is good words, praise, acclamation, or applause. Ephrosyne, who is good cheer, cheerfulness, merriment, joy, and mirth. Eupraxia, who is the personification of good conduct. Eusebia, who is the personification of piety, filial respect, and loyalty. Euthymia, who is good cheer, joy, and contentment. Eusychia, who is good fortune, luck, prosperity, and success. Galos, who is laughter. Geras, who is old age. Harmonia, who is harmony, marital harmony, concord, union, and joining. Hebe, who is youth and youthful pride. Hedon, who is pleasure, enjoyment, delight, and sensual pleasures. Hediogos, who is sweet talk or flatter. Hesychia, who is a personification of quiet, rest, silence, or stillness. Hemeros, who is sexual desire, longing, and yearning. Homodos, who is the din of battle, battle noise, and tumult. Homonia, who is concord, unanimity, and the oneness of mind. Horkos, who is the personification of oath and the punishment of perjury. Hormes, who is effort, impulse to do something, setting oneself into motion, eagerness, and a starting action. Hybris, who is insolence, violence, excessive pride, or outrageous behavior. Hygeia, who is the personification of good health. Hypnos, who of course is the personification of sleep or sleepiness. Hysmina, which is plural again, who are the personification of fighting, fights, fistfights, and combat. Yoke, who is the personification of onslaught, battle tumult, pursuit, and rout. Keres, plural again, who are the personification of death, doom of death, and plague. Lethe, who is the personification of forgetfulness or oblivion. Limos, the personification of hunger, famine, or starvation. Lite, plural, who are prayer and entreaty. Lupe, or pain of the body, pain of the mind, and grief again. Lissa, who is rage, marital rage, fury, raging madness, frenzy, and also rabies. Makai, who are battle and combat. Manii, who are the personification of madness, craze, frenzy, and insanity. Methe, who is drunkenness and inebriety. Mnemosyne, who is the personification of memory. Momos is the personification of mockery, ridicule, blame, reproach, and stinging criticism. Moros is the personification of fate, destiny, doom, and death. Musica is the personification of music. Nikia is quarrel, feud, and grievance. Nemesis is righteous indignation, distribution of dues, jealousy, and wrath. Nike, of course, is victory. Nomos is law, laws, ordinances, and statutes. The Nosoi are the personification of sickness, disease, and plague. Oisis, who is the personification of woe and misery. Olithros, who is the personification of day of doom, destruction, or death. Onoroi, who are the personification of dreams. Osa is the personification of rumor. Palioxis, the personification of backrush, flight, and retreat in battle. Perigoros, who is the personification of comfort, consultation, and soothing words. Pytharia, the personification of obedience to command. Pytho, persuasion, suasion, and seduction. Pinia, who is the personification of poverty, need, and penury. Penthos, who is the personification of grief, sorrow, mourning, and misery. Feme, the personification of rumor, report, common talk, gossip, fame, and reputation. Philia, the personification of affectionate regard or friendship. Philophrosini, the personification of friendliness, kindliness, and welcome. Philotes, who is the personification also of friendship, love, affection, and sex. Phobos, who is the personification of panic, fear, flight, and rout. Phonoi, who are the personification of murder, killing, and slaughter. Phrake, who is horror. Physis, who is the personification of wasting away, perishing, and decay. Phonos, who is the personification of envy, jealousy, ill will, and malice. Phygi, who is the personification of flight, escape, flight from battle, exile, and also banishment. Pistes, who is trust, honesty, faith, and trustworthiness. Plutos, who is the personification of wealth. Poine, plural, who are the personification of retribution, vengeance, punishment, penalty, and blood money. Polymos, who is war and battle. Pompe, who is the personification of a religious possession. Ponos is hard work, toil, and labor. Poros is the personification of expediency or the means of accomplishing or providing something. Pothos is sexual longing and yearning. Praxidikai is the personification of exacting justice. Proioxis is the personification of onrush or pursuit in battle. Prophasis is excuse or plea. The pseudologoi are the personification of lies, lying words, or falsehoods. Tokaia is the personification of beggary. Sophia is wisdom. Self-foreseen is moderation, temperance, self-control, prudence, and discretion. Soter is safety, deliverance, and preservation from harm. And his sister is Soteria, who is also safety, deliverance, and preservation from harm. Techne is arts, craft, and technical skill. Telete is the personification of consecration or initiation. Thalia is festivity or banquet. Thanatos, of course, is death. Thrasos is overboldness, rashness, and insolence. Tyche is fortune, chance, providence, or fate. Then there's two Zeloses. So Zelos number 1 is the personification of rivalry, zeal, emulation, ambition, or envy. And then there's Zelos number 2, who is just jealousy and envy. And that's it. That is all of the personified deities that I could gather up. So if anyone was missed, I'll make sure I get to them at some point and make that correction. But yeah, it's kind of nice to think that there's a celestial power behind all of these little itty bitty parts of life. I like to think that there's something directly responsible for respect or glory or stupidity. Moving on though, right to the question for the contest to win the free Oh My Gods t-shirt. The question this week is, how many personified spirits of death are there? So now, if you know the answer, you can head on over to ohmygods.ca/contest and submit your correct answer, and then you add in your contact info and your t-shirt size, and if you get picked, you can win a free t-shirt. Okie dokie. So for next week, we're going to get a little fun with the list. It's going to be all of the mythological creatures mentioned in Greek mythology. I think there is a chance this episode may end up being super long, but I'm not sure. I guess we will see when we get there. But yeah, it'll be another full and complete list of everyone, and then with a little look into the myths they pop up in. Most of them only have one grand appearance where they're like in the myth and they end up being hunted or killed, but some aren't monsters and are more like a breed or additional race of humans, but we'll get into all of that then. So if you like what you heard, please feel free to follow, subscribe, rate, and all the rest. And if you're looking for any infos or deets, check out ohmygods.ca for the reading/watching list, as well as the cheat sheet and all of the upcoming episodes. All right, thanks for listening. Okay, bye.